Hi guys, Earl White from House Heroes here. We're talking about in this video alternatives to selling your house um, when you're going to be moving out of state. Sometimes selling your house, it just might not be possible when you're moving out of state. One reason it might not be possible is that you don't have equity in the house yet. So perhaps the amount you owe is making it difficult to sell and churn some kind of acceptable profit from the sale. So that's one reason selling it might be difficult. It also just could be in a hard to sell neighborhood or might need a lot of work. And there's something about the house that makes selling it really difficult. So the question really is for this video is, what are your options if you got to get out of the state and you can't sell? The most obvious option here is to use the property as a rental property. This, obviously a rental property has, some serious benefits. House Heroes, we buy rental properties. We hold them with tenants, and there's a few good reasons to do that. One is, you're going to get a monthly rental payment, right? So, it's nice to have a rental payment, an income payment every month. Now, when you're holding this rental, you have to remember that it is an investment now. So now you have a property that's now an investment property. So you don't want to lose money every month. So a couple steps, right? You have to figure out what the rent, should be based on the market, and then take a look at your holding costs. So again, holding costs, you're going to have monthly repairs, utilities, maintenance, insurance. Those things are going to go on monthly. So you want to make sure if you're going to, keep this as a rental property that it's going to quote unquote cash flow. And there's a couple ways. Like maybe it doesn't look that good. The numbers don't look that good just like on a yearly lease, but you could consider a few different things. Like in this day and age, you could consider a short-term rental, like an Airbnb situation, particularly if you're in an area that has some public attractions. An Airbnb could be a great way to go for renting it out. And if you do take the time to set it up as an Airbnb, you might even be able to then sell the property because you've added a lot of value to a person who's looking to get into investing in Airbnbs. But you're also going to want to take a look at the area in terms of property managers, because a property manager basically manages your rental for you. Typically, they take a percentage of the rent and they manage the rental for you. It's great. We use property managers because, we're just too busy to get involved in the day-by-day process of holding a rental, right? So it's going to be the same situation for you if you're living out of state. So you want to make sure there's good property managers in the area, and you'd be surprised that in a lot of areas there are not. You probably can call around to 5 or 6 property managers, and you may hear from a bunch of them they don't work in the area. At which point, once you learn that, the rental is probably not a good strategy because there'll be no support for renting it out. The other benefit of having a rental is that you do get tax benefits. Typically, there you can deduct mortgage payments, taxes, depends on the situation, but there could be a tax benefit there. And also, another good reason to keep it as a rental is that when you sell a house, you could get hit with capital gains tax. So basically, if you're selling this house and you made a ton of profit on the sale, you could get hit with taxes on that profit. So if you rent it instead of selling it, you can avoid paying tens of thousands of dollars to the government in capital gains. Now again, there's some drawbacks if you're not trying to keep this house as a rental. If you're not a landlord, not experienced as a landlord, you could run into problems and lose money on a monthly basis, not really churn any profit. Also, you want to make sure the area is not declining. If you're in an area that's not declining, the property could lose value, which is kind of not the idea. You'd rather keep the rental in an area that has some likelihood of appreciation. That's why you're hanging on to it, appreciates, or at least stays the same, so you're not losing value every month. So if you're not, so that's really it. I mean, that's what we'd recommend. If you can't sell it, consider putting a tenant in there, particularly if you have a mortgage payment. Like if you're paying a ton in a mortgage payment, you're probably not going to be able to afford 2 mortgages, or you afford the living costs in 2 cities. So really, if you can't sell it, you really should put a tenant in there, and at least take what you can get to cut down your monthly costs. The other thing you can do is keep it as a vacation home. And that makes sense if you have a lot of family in the area and you're going to go visit them a lot, and then they can also use the property, or people they know can use the property. And not just that, so even if you're using it as a vacation property or keeping it as a vacation property, it doesn't mean you can't rent it at all. You can rent it in the summers, you can rent it in months with high rental payments, and then keep it for yourself in some other months. Just don't sign a 12-month lease, so you have options on an ongoing basis. So that's really it. There's not too many options when you get stuck with the house in a different state. You can either keep it as a rental or keep it as a vacation house. So guys, that concludes my blog about how to sell a house and when you're trying to move out of state. I hope we've given you some help on this process, at least some considerations that are worth thinking about as you're going through the process here. Thank you.